So the PlayStation 5 could be a lot cheaper than we initially thought. Welcome back, my friends, to another video here on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the PS5 price once again, because until we get official announcement from Sony about what the pricing is going to be for the PS5, all we could do is continue to speculate and things like that. But this one's actually coming from an interesting source, because this is coming from a survey directly from Sony themselves. Excuse me. So, what's interesting about this survey is that a bunch of people got to participate in the survey, and they were basically asked about what they think a fair price would be for the PS5. So obviously this is not a price that's set in stone, but it's very, very interesting. So I'm going to throw it up on screen. You guys can see, as mentioned in the product description, the pricing of this new product, PlayStation 5, has not yet been determined. For the purposes of this survey, we will assign you random pricing. Please take this random pricing into consideration at the following questions. The random prices for this new product, PlayStation 5, that you will evaluate are, and then this one's in euros, 349 and 259, which would be, I think, like 299 US and 399 US roughly or something, which is a lot cheaper than we thought. So yeah, $299 for the digital edition, $399 for the standard edition, which honestly, it sounds a little bit too good to be true. I think, let's say Sony, you know, in the survey is going to ask people like, hey, is this a good price? And then people probably say yes, because that sounds like a very fair price. And then it'll be like, okay, well, if they're fine with this price, maybe we could squeeze a little bit more out of it. So maybe, you know, they add an extra $100 to it. So then it ends up being $499 for the standard edition and $399 for the digital edition. I don't know. That's just my random guess, my random idea. But the other thing that's worth to noting is how much the PS4 was and how much it, you know, cost and all that good stuff. So originally the PS4 was, I think, $399 US, $349 if you were in the UK. Overseas. It's also worth noting and remembering that obviously consoles sell at a loss, right? Every console sells at a loss. Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, you know, all the consoles they put out, sells at a loss, right? It's a given. They make their money off software, peripherals, accessories, etc. So, but there's a number going around. I'm not sure where this number is actually coming from, but apparently the bill of materials is rumored to be $450 for the PS5. Now, I don't know if that's accurate. I feel like it would be a little bit more, and I'll explain why in a second. But if it's $450 and they're selling the standard PS5 at what was it, $399 is the rumor based on this survey, and then they're selling the digital version at $299. They're going to be selling the standard edition at a $50 loss, which normally would sound reasonable, but then the digital edition would be a little bit more significant because it'd be $100 cheaper, and it's only missing the optical drive, right? So they're going to be missing a whole lot more money on that, because an optical drive doesn't cost much, like $20 maybe, if that. So you got to take that into consideration. That said, I think the bill of materials might be a little bit more expensive, because you got to take into consideration all the components that are in here. Now, it is also worth noting the fact that, you know, if we were to go buy, you know, similar components at a store to put into a PC, it's going to cost us a lot more, right? Obviously, you know, Microsoft and Sony, they have partnerships with like AMD, for example, and they just have things that are a little bit more cost efficient, cost friendly, but it still costs, you know, money to make, obviously, right? That said, we got an SSD, which SSDs cost more than normal hard disk drives, right? Which we've been using hard disk drives in consoles up until now. SSDs are a lot quicker, but they cost more. So you got to take that in consideration as a custom SSD. Then we got the CPU and the RAM, which are going to be obviously, you know, sufficient enough and powerful enough to work together to do things like multitasking, right? We're going to have the fact that we can run multiple applications, right? You can suspend games and have multiple games suspended and switch between games, is what, you know, both Microsoft and Sony are kind of saying about their next gen consoles. So, you know, you need good enough RAM and good enough CPU to do all that and run all that, you know, efficiently. And then of course we have the GPU, which is going to be capable of ray tracing. Ray tracing, you know, is obviously a new technology, which you need a GPU powerful enough to, you know, run those capabilities. And then, you know, whatever else, you know, this is next gen gaming. It's going to be a really powerful GPU. So you take all those into consideration. I don't know if $450 for the PS5 would be accurate. I think it'd be a little bit more, but I don't know. It's hard to say, honestly. Now, that said, it's also worth noting that apparently the person who I guess posted this survey online, they stated that previously they had done similar surveys where the products in those surveys ended up having about a 20% price increase upon the release of those products. So if that is the case, then it'd be closer to what I previously mentioned I think that the consoles would end up being, which is about $500 US for the standard edition and $400 US for the digital edition. I think that is probably the most likely scenario. It could be a little bit more expensive. They could go as much as like $599, but I don't think so. I think they want to make this as you know, cost competitive. Is that a phrase? I don't know. As possible. That's also why neither Xbox or PlayStation has revealed their pricing for their consoles. They're trying to outweight the other one, right? Because if one company comes out and they're like, this is our price, the other company can attempt to undercut them. So, you know, that's kind of why they're kind of, you know, neither of them have really mentioned their pricing yet. So I don't think it's going to be super expensive. I don't think it's going to be one of those things where like PS3 was way expensive, like what was like $700 or something. I don't think that's going to be the case. So I think reasonably, if we're basing everything off this survey and previous leaks we've seen with like Amazon France and Amazon whatever other country that Amazon leaked things, and you know, we've seen leaks all over the place. If we're putting all those into consideration, I think the most logical, I guess, reasonable conclusion or assumption, right? Speculation, whatever. So many different words to come to is, I think that, yeah, the PS5 is going to be $499 for the standard edition and $399 for the digital edition. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe it's going to be $449 for the digital edition. It's only going to be a $50 difference. That could be the case as well. Then there's the other thing that games are going to start costing more. Now, what if? Now, this is just a random idea. What if digital games cost a little bit less than they do physical? If they do that, the digital edition all of a sudden seems more enticing for people, right? Because, well, why would I buy physical games if they're like $5-10 more expensive, right? If they go that route, which I don't know if they will, but if they do, then, I mean, dude, that's going to be pretty big as well. I mean, people are probably still going to buy the physical edition or the standard edition of the PS5 anyways, and maybe just get a lot of, you know, digital games. I always get, you know, the standard edition. So like for me, if I was to choose between a standard and digital edition, I'd probably get the standard, even though I'd probably get most of my games digital because I game share with my son. And so that's probably what I would do, but I would still like to have the optical drive in case I want to use it, right? I would still like that as a possibility. So at the same time, if all they have available is digital editions, if the standard edition sells out, then I'll go digital edition. I don't really care. So like I said, couple things to take into consideration, obviously, in all of this, but you know, it is a rumor, it is speculation, nothing's official, but I thought it was interesting that this survey was kind of poking around at a random price. I don't think that's the price it's going to be. I think it's going to be a little bit more expensive than what the survey says, and you know, for the reasons I explained. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you make out of it? What do you think the pricing is going to be? Hopefully we get an announcement soon on the pricing. The rumor is that Sony is going to have another event in August, which they're going to show off more games and probably reveal a price and release date. I'm assuming. I don't expect either Xbox or Sony to announce a price or a release date until at least August. I think August is when it's going to happen. I'm pretty sure that's when they announce the PS4 and the Xbox One prices and release dates. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I think August is what we can look at to get something official. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe, guys, new, tell your friends and all that good stuff, because we do a lot of gaming stuff here on the channel, gaming news, walkthroughs, let's plays kind of stuff, and all that good stuff. So anyways, I'll see you guys very soon in another video. Stay safe, stay well, and until the next one, my friends, game on, and thanks for watching.